50, 60 yards with it or, go down the slot and stretch the field,
I still think, though, I think where we separate on this issue is I just think that Kaepernick has been a running back playing quarterback. I don't think he's a pure passer. And I don't think he's a guy that's comfortable in the pocket, and I think he's a guy that's looking to run more often than he's looking to pass. And I think that may or may not be his fault, but I do believe that when you look at what he did last year, which was basically, in a lot of people's opinion, including mine, catch lightning in a bottle, I don't think that he'll be able to duplicate that success this year, even though I think in some ways the team has gotten better. They're more seasoned. It's a more veteran group. They know what it tastes like to go to the big game now. They're hungry, but I just, he's been figured out, man. He's been figured out. The way Seattle did him, they set the table. They set the table. We're going to dare you to throw. Just spy him. That's all we're going to do. We're going to spy you. And, we dare you to throw. And so he's going to have to be accurate. He's going to have, under pressure. And, the more he plays teams with these fast, Von Miller type, sort of undersized but really, really fast defensive linemen, he's got his work cut out for him. So, other surprises around the league that aren't really surprises. Philly is, middle of the road. Again, I still think that they're going to rue the day they gave Mike Vick that $100 million, because I still don't see that manifesting yet. I don't know how, forget about giving a guy 2 years out of prison a $100 million contract. I mean, he hasn't lived up to it. He hasn't performed well. And so, I think that they're over a barrel with him. Absolutely. You owe him so much money, you have to play him, but he's not playing well. And I don't think he's going to get any better. I really don't. It's just like they're doing with Freeman, which come to find out, Josh Freeman is has somewhat of a drug problem, I guess. That's the word. The word around the campfire is that he's got somewhat of a drug problem. And
yeah, but why? I don't know why Tampa Bay would bring that up now when they're trying to trade him. That's kind of diminishing his trade value a little bit, but
it was dumb.
He's a talent. I think somebody will take a flyer on him. I think he's still young enough to where with the right coordinator, right system, he could be a productive quarterback.
Well, again, I agree. I absolutely agree. A lot of people, I know a Chicago fan out there who, Bulls fan, obviously, who happens to be a Tampa Bay fan. You go make that connection if you want. I don't know. But anyway, it says he's just tired of seeing Josh Freeman. I'm sick of him. And I said, in his defense, what have they really ever put around Josh Freeman? The best player he's ever had around him was Doug Martin, the running back. And he's, 2 years in? They hired Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris came in with a system. It was effective, but it was going to take time. And then they fire him, just out of the blue. And, I don't think at this point fitting Josh Freeman before you, first of all, I want to be clear on something. I'm not against trading players. Because I know, I get comments sometimes, or I talk to buddies, and they're like, well, what are you going to do? Just pay the guy and have him sucking, and he's going to suck, and you're just going to play him? No. My issue is timing. Just like you just said, why am I getting leaked information about you before your trade? What are you trying to do? If anything, I want my car to look good when I'm trying to sell it or when I'm trying to trade it. I don't want to raise up the hood and show you all the rust spots and the dents and it won't go into reverse right away and stuff. I don't want to do that. So I don't understand the whole Josh Freeman dynamic. I don't understand what are they doing with him down there, because it's clear I don't think they want him to be this all-star quarterback. Cam Newton's the same way. Steve Smith should have been. Come on, man. Steve Smith is good, and he should have had a complimentary receiver next to him for years now. So, a lot of these guys, they just throw to the wolves. They don't culture them. They don't nurture them. They don't build around them. And it's really a shame because nobody except the guys in that room will ever know why Josh Freeman is not the quarterback. Because I'm not buying 2 good years on and then 2 good years off. I'm not buying that. We see plenty of quarterbacks. Hey, Alex Smith was in the league for years playing poorly. I mean, years. Hell, his first 4 or 5 years in the league, he was garbage. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm not defending Josh Freeman. He hasn't played well, but by the same token, it is kind of weird that we hear leaked information right before we trying to get rid of him. So there may be some insider trading. Who knows? But any other surprises to you, man, for you around the league, week 4?
I would say, there's a lot of teams out there that are, 2-2 that are, right there as being borderline contenders, or, teams that, somewhat are in between, are they this good or are they not? Like Tennessee is 3-1. Now, that's somewhat of a surprise. Miami Dolphins are 3-1. So is it just a quick hot start, or can they sustain this for the next 12 weeks? I think Miami might have a little bit more staying power because, the Tennessee Titans division is a little bit tough. You got the Colts and the Texans that, somewhat compete. The Dolphins, Buffalo has shown some signs of being pretty good. Jets have shown some signs of having some life in them. But I think the Dolphins might have a little bit more staying power than the Tennessee Titans as far as, are they really, this good, or is it just a hot start? And then, NFC-wise, Lions and Bears, both 3-1. I think the North, I think they can get 2 playoff teams, either Packers,
Absolutely.
Packers, Bears, or Bears, Lions. I think they can get two, maybe even 3 playoff teams out of that division.
Absolutely. I'm counting on 3 because Detroit is definitely good enough. Reggie Bush. Wow. Reggie Bush. And, Megatron's still playing the same. Stafford's only gotten better. Their defense is hungrier. They're eager to prove something. They're the young guns in that division. You have Green Bay, who's always going to be there. And then Chicago, Jay Cutler is, looking good. They're playing well. So, they could probably squeeze 3 out of there. It's definitely up for grabs, man. The next 4 weeks will tell a huge story. So, but anyway, let's move right along, man. We're going to go ahead and transition into some baseball. Obviously, the playoffs are around the corner. And you got a highlight team you're looking at? Dodgers, maybe?
I would say the team Pittsburgh Pirates, man. They're actually winning. The little playing game was yesterday with the Rays and the Indians, and the Rays were able. No, the Rays and the Rangers played yesterday in the playing game to get into the 1-game wild card playoff. Rays won. Rays won 5-2. So I think Pittsburgh Pirates. Right now they're up 6-1 in the bottom of the 7th. I think they're going to have a pretty good chance to make some noise. First time they've been in the playoffs first time they had a winning season since 1992. First time they've been in the playoffs since then. Whoever thought the Pittsburgh Pirates better year than the Pittsburgh Steelers? So
absolutely,
no one ever thought that.
Absolutely. So definitely. So you got your eye on Pittsburgh. I know a lot of Dodger fans out there, obviously. Concerned But hell, they could make some
Ethier and Kemp. Kemp is out for the rest of the playoffs, and then Ethier might be able to pinch hit, and then maybe he can get back in towards the if they get past the first round, maybe he can get back into the lineup, and play a little bit of outfield. But I mean, pretty much the Dodgers played without Matt Kemp. He missed 89 games. They went 36 and 17 in one stretch without him. So they've been used to playing without him pretty much all year. I mean, having him in the lineup, it would have been an added bonus. But I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. I think they have the best starting pitching as far as the National League. I think they got the best starting pitching, and their bullpen has actually been a surprise this year. So, as long as they got those two guys going, Kershaw and Greinke, at the top of their rotation, they got a chance. I know the Braves, they got some good arms, but they don't have the same starting pitching as the Dodgers. But offensively, they can kind of match what the Dodgers can do, maybe even a little bit more power. They actually led the National League in home runs. So, but in the postseason, it's not a ton of home runs actually hit because you're going against guys 1s, 2s, and 3s. So most of the times those guys don't give up a lot of home runs. So we'll see. We'll see. How that prevails. I'm looking for that to go 4 or 5 games. I'm somewhat leaning towards the Braves, but I mean the way the Dodgers season has gone, I wouldn't be surprised either way. Pittsburgh looks like they're going to win this playing game, and then they'll play St. Louis in the best-of-5 series. That starts on Thursday. So then I think Pittsburgh can pull it upset. I mean, Cardinals have had a good year, but like I said, I think Pittsburgh is, just in the moment right now. And then American League-wise, I think Cleveland's going to beat Tampa Bay. Then it'll be the Red Sox and Cleveland. I think Red Sox will beat Cleveland, and then the other series is Oakland and the Tigers. I think Oakland's going to get some revenge from last year, but we'll see. Because the Tigers beat them in the first round last year in 5-game series, so it's going to be a good playoffs. It's going to be pretty competitive. I don't see a lot of sweeps or anything going on, so. Yeah, I'm looking for a pretty good, entertaining postseason.
Well, there you have it. Well, we're definitely up against it, so we'll move right into our last but not least. Yours for the week is what? Did I lose you?
What did you say again?
I said we're moving right into our last but not least. We're kind of up against it. We need to take a break, but before we do, we want to go ahead and get our last but not least in. Yours for this week is what?
Well, I'll say the story, probably, I'll say, as far as high school football, Wilson and Lakewood play this week. It's always a big rivalry game, Morley kicked off last week. And both teams Lakewood will play their first Morley game, and then Wilson's 1-0 in the league. They beat Jordan last week, so we'll see how that shakes out. I think Poly plays Milliken, but and then I forgot the other matchup.
Huh. Well, my last but not least of the week is dedicated to the Bitter Monk. Today drops NBA 2K14. I believe it was today, right? Am I correct in that?
I'm not exactly sure.
No, right. I believe it was either today or last week, one of the two. But the Michael Jordan interview. I'm just going to resort to calling him the Bitter Monk. The guy is so bitter, and he was asked about the whole the Kobe and LeBron and he, of course, I could beat all of them, except maybe Kobe because he steals all my moves and this and that. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, when is this guy going to give a meaningful interview? When is Michael Jordan, widely considered as the greatest player of all time, going to give a meaningful interview? Why is he keep continuing to do this TMZ crap? You are the best basketball player individually considered by many and most of all time.